Morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Don't know when you're watching this, but it's got to be one of those times. So welcome back to the Cup of Joe show. I'm Joe, that's Jeremy. Let's get into it. We've seen a few movies. This guy jumped the gun and has already seen Godzilla. And I have seen Neighbors, so um, we'll hop into Neighbors since that came out last week. Um, Basically, the movie was funny, um, but to me, comedies are usually they're just not worth seeing in theaters, and like I wouldn't, I can't recommend seeing this comedy in theaters. It was funny, but I'm particularly hard on comedies, and the fact where if something uh, is morally wrong and no one even mentions the fact that it is, or just kind of like glosses over it bothers me. So there are just things like Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne are like terrible parents, and like but it's never even like mentioned or just anything. Like they are horrible parents, and like it's just completely glossed over, and it bothers me. Um, they like leave their child at home. They to go and party next door. Just because that's more important than actually taking care of their child. Oh, they take the baby monitor with them, but like it's it's ridiculous because they get like high and drunk and everything, and they continuously throughout the movie curse in front of their child, which is bound to happen, but like it's just like it's a baby, and they're just like going on with like every single curse you could think of in the book. So it is that fact is never addressed, so that bothers me about it. But it's funny. Everyone that's in it is very good. Zac Efron's very good in his role, and it actually tackles a theme in it, despite it being a comedy. It's parents that are seeing themselves growing into adulthood, having to not go out, and just having to stay home and take care of their child, versus a fraternity that actually, they're about to graduate, and they need to move on from this. And Zac Efron's really struggling with that because he has nowhere to go. So it actually tackles a theme, but ultimately it's funny, but I just wouldn't go see it in theaters. And obviously, maybe you don't have issues with the morality of the whole thing, but I mean I do. So if you don't have issues with it, then you'll probably love it because it's pretty funny.
Okay, I did not see Neighbors. I'll get around to that eventually. Probably not in theaters because I don't know. I just don't want to go see a comedy by myself in theaters. So, yeah. I did see Godzilla. So,
If Godzilla was an elephant, that's what he would be like. That's
yeah,
it.
yeah, I agree. Okay. So Joe and I will probably offer more comprehensive thoughts on the picture after we've both seen it. But I'm just gonna I'll just go into a little, succinct review here. Pacific Rim was better. I'm done.
Wow. Wow.
It really, in like every way, Pacific
Wow.
Rim was better. I liked Godzilla, but Pacific Rim was just flat out better.
Wow. Well, now that's interesting.
That's my feeling. You might come back next week and be like, I don't know what the hell he was talking about.
We'll find out. But I know one thing. I have seen Pacific Rim, and it was ultimately just there for me. So if Godzilla is less than
Godzilla
that,
was kind of just there.
Okay.
It was,
All
to
right.
me.
All right. Well, we will. We'll see what happens next week after I see it.
But
and we
think
could
about it this
provide-
way. I just lowered your expectations for Godzilla.
It's true.
So, since the bar has been lowered, your standards will be lower and you might be pleasantly surprised.
That's true. Oh, thanks, Jeremy. You provided us and everyone watching this a great service. Thank you.
That's what I'm here for.
The thing is, the trailers have actually they've been the best that I've seen so far this year out of any trailer. And
Aside from perhaps Captain America.
yeah, but probably better than Captain America
Yeah.
trailers. And but I've seen it depends. Like the main character is Kick-Ass, whatever his
Yeah,
name is,
Aaron,
right?
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
And-
Johnson Taylor. I think it's Taylor Johnson.
So the thing is, that's what scares me about it. That you have actors like a Bryan Cranston, and you have these really great actors kind of in that
Ken
film.
Watanabe.
Yes, that's what I was looking for, and it's based around someone who doesn't have as much acting talent. So I mean that scares me about it.
Aaron Taylor Johnson has acting talent. It's just that it hasn't really shown through in things like Kick-Ass or did you see Savages?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm
No.
sure it didn't shine through in that either, but yeah.
Okay. The thing is, I heard that he was just like terrible in it.
In Godzilla?
Yes.
Oh, I wouldn't say he was just very stiff and emotionless.
Mhm.
I mean, he had emotions. I mean, he's a military guy, and sometimes military people are kind of, a little stiff, a little, because that's kind of like what you have to be. But he was bland.
Right. Okay. So I mean, I guess that doesn't technically have to do with him. It could do with the writing as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But
Or the directing.
Or the directing. Yep. So. Okay. Interesting thoughts here from Jeremy. Interesting thoughts. But let's all go see it and see what happens.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies that that would be more entertaining in theaters than a comedy. So
I would definitely get behind that. I did not see it in 3D,
Mhm.
but yeah.
I got you. So, moving on. We had some movies last week that made money and at the box office.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about those. Well, Jeremy's going to talk about them. I'm going to smile and nod.
Number 5, last weekend, was Captain America the Winter Soldier. That dipped just 26% to $5.8 million. It has $245 million in the bank, and it should soon surpass the Lego Movie as the number 1 movie of the year, which in turn will probably be passed out by something that comes out this month. Okay, in 4th place we had Heaven is for Real. That was down just 13% to $7.5 million. It now has a total of $75.7 million, all on a budget of $12 million. That's, I didn't realize it was up that high. That's good. Huh. Anyway, speaking of movies that have done surprisingly well, The Other Woman dropped 33% to $9.6 million and has a total of $62 million. And now we move on to movies that are pulling in disappointingly small numbers. The Amazing Spider-Man 2, that was down 61% to $35.5 million, and it has a total of $146 million as of 2 weekends. So, in 2 weekends, in 10 days, it couldn't make what Spider-Man 3 made in 1 weekend, or 3 days. So, clearly Spidey is just not what he used to be, and this is going to be by far the lowest grossing Spider-Man movie. But our number 1 picture was Neighbors, and that opened to $49 million. That's quite a bit higher than most expectations, including my own, which thought it would open about mid-30s, but talented cast, Seth Rogen, Zac Efron, who the women love, and I do. Yeah. Anyway, and funny commercials and trailers and all that. So people like the concept. So it kind of broke out, and I guess good for everyone involved. How's your face doing?
It hurts so bad. Oh my gosh.
Let me try.
yeah. Try smiling for like however
It hurts
long
already.
That was. See? Yeah. I'm never gonna make that joke again. It's too much pain. Anyway, there's the box office. I was surprised that Neighbors pulled out the number one spot this week, but then again, I don't really know the box office. Usually every box office prediction I make is like off, and it's not just off, it's like way off. So I shouldn't I just shouldn't say anything, but
Oh, even the experts dropped the ball. I mean, nobody expected Neighbors to make close to 50.
right. So jeez. I'm basically surprised by that, and everything else, whatever. Heaven is for real, I guess. For real. Yep. Yeah, and the other woman is like busting out for some reason.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know. Kate Upton.
Yeah. So, but what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
We're not everybody. We don't go see all these things.
No, we don't.
So that was the box office. You could view that if you don't like looking at our faces and listening. I don't know who would think that, but you could see all that at cupofjoe.com. Also, posts on Facebook you could like us on Facebook, Cup of Joe. There's a little cup that says Cup of Joe. Like us.
Yeah.
So we've hit the movies, we've hit the box office, and now we move on to the upcoming films this weekend, which is
$1 Million Arm.
That's right.
That's a baseball throw.
Yeah, that was very good.
I know,
that probably
right?
would have gone like 12 miles per hour.
Hey, when I used to do those speed pitches at like church fairs when I was a kid, I hit like 37 miles an hour.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Then this girl who played softball did right after me and threw like 51. So that was emasculating. And then Chris Cummings, if you're watching this, I remember you went up after her and threw like 70-something. So thank you.
Well, Chris Cummings is a natural athlete all around, which
He is.
I don't get it, but I am jealous of him. I wish I had his abilities in like every single. It would probably help if like I was his weight, though. I'm sure.
And he's a couple inches taller than you.
That's true. He could jump out of a friggin' building and still like sprint faster than anyone. You gotta tell Chris Cummings this because we spent like a solid minute on him. So
Well, just tag him in the description
oh,
or
okay,
something.
okay, good. $1 Million Arm.
Yeah.
This is one of those films that Disney, it's a Disney film, right? Comes out with that it's a drama, but it's a at the end it's wrapped in a bow and it's a lot of happiness. It has a happy ending, so it'll be rough in the beginning. It's just like, oh god, John Hamm, he's probably gonna lose his job and everything, and well, actually, he pretty much has. So and then like he's gonna get these kids from India, and they're going to be terrible once they get here, but then somehow turn around, and everyone will be happy at the end. It'll be a nice little movie. getting a middle of the road rating, 50-some% at Rotten Tomatoes, which is to be expected. So if you want to feel good and you like these Disney movies and you like movies like Secretariat and Trouble with the Curve and Draft Day, you'll like this movie. That's my opinion. I would like to see it because I think it's going to give me that satisfaction, and I love happy endings that are wrapped tight in a little bow.
Okay, yeah, it's a Disney inspirational sports movie. They make a lot of these, and if you like that kind of movie, it's great. I do like those movies as long as they don't get too like bogged down in sentimentality and cliches and all that. So I would give Million Dollar Arm a chance, especially because I like John Hamm. I've never even watched Mad Men. I'll get to it someday, but I like him. I think he's very charismatic. So it's interesting that this is kind of his first test of how much of a draw he is. He's never had to like open a movie or something based on his drawing power. So as far as the prediction goes, I have somewhere like 12 to 15 million.
Yeah, I don't think it really stands a chance going against Godzilla.
It's not the thing it has going for it is it's more like a family movie,
Right.
whereas Godzilla is like a young male kind of movie.
Right. I got you. And I think it's kind of interesting that these sports movies keep coming out, but they keep getting farther and farther from like the mainstream. Like it's just, it starts with like football, basketball, and then it's just like horse racing, and it's like, oh crap, we just have to keep getting deeper and deeper. Let's grab someone from India. We're just getting farther and farther. Like next year is going to be a cricket movie, inspirational cricket
Probably.
movie, and I'll still see
A
it.
croquet.
A croquet. Yep. Absolutely. So, but.
Pickleball.
Just an observation I'm making. Exactly. They haven't done hockey yet. Well, yeah, they haven't. So we'll see where that goes. But ultimately, there's one movie coming out this week that most people care about, and it's Godzilla. You've heard a little bit from us about it already. But I going into this, like I said, great trailers. It really does look great, but I could see it being flawed. I will see it at some point, and then we could talk about it in more depth. But ultimately, it is the movie to see this weekend.
I agree, and I agree that the trailers, starting with the teaser trailer going back to last year, have all been very good and have built up the movie very, very well. And as I said already, ultimately I was disappointed in the actual product. It's a good movie and it's entertaining, and there are like a few parts, one in particular at the end that make you just go, yes! But it feels like in proportion to that moment, like all the leading and build up and everything is not, it's not proportional. So, yeah, that's my thought on that. But because the advertising and everything has been so good, and people have pretty much forgotten about the 1998 piece of crap. The hype and the build up and everything is there. So expectations are pretty high. It pulled in like 9 million from late Thursday showings, which is on par with Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Thor: The Dark World. So in light of that, it looks like it's headed toward about 90 million opening weekend.
That's absurd.
That's high.
That's high.
Pretty good.
So, gosh, I had a thought, and then I lost it. Now we're running out of time.
Yeah.
Yep. It's just not going to happen. So,
Save it for next week.
We'll have to save it for next week. That's it. We actually have 30 seconds to spare, so we'll probably just talk it away for a second here. I got nothing. Do you have anything?
I have nothing.
We're ending the show early. Have a good week. See ya, movie.